Welcome back to 97.7 FM KC Radio and an hour of power. In leadership with me, Ryan Gomez, I have a special guest on the program, Lozaus1. And Lawrence is talking about, we are talking about YouTube. And so Lawrence, going into it a bit, so you've started off, you've got this idea, you said you want to put it together, you're working on your passion, now you're doing what you're doing out there full time. You know, you've started to do this every Fridays. I hope listeners are getting an idea of and grabbing a picture of this. So Fridays you work for about an hour or two on this, and so 4 or 5 months you got this movie together. So take me through that journey.
Well, this is sort of back in, I think it was late 2012. So, I just had this passion and motivation to want to put this video together, and every Friday I'd knock off work. I had all week to think about the scenes that I wanted to do, the storyline and all. Came home, filmed what I needed to film. Saturday morning would put it together on the computer.
Yes.
And stuck it on YouTube, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if it got a few thousand views? I thought that would be fantastic if that was to happen. But what I found, Ryan, was as soon as I uploaded it, I had reignited that passion of stop motion. So I found myself wanting to make part two.
It's a great feeling, isn't it? It's a great feeling. It's just that sense of achievement. It's not about, when you have a passion, it's not about the money, it's not about the finance, it's not about, it's more that self-achievement, isn't it?
It certainly is. And it's just a feeling I have not had since I was, between the age of 12 and 16. So I found myself making part two, and in the time I was making part two, I was thinking, oh my God, I've had like 300 views. I can't believe I've had this amount. And my kids were sort of laughing at me, thinking, Dad, this is nothing compared to what goes on YouTube. And then I think it was a few months later, it hit 100,000 views.
Whoa, wow.
And I thought, oh my God, I've just filled the MCG. Can you believe it? I've just filled the MCG on grand final day.
Awesome. And
so anyway, part two came out, and part two just took off much more amazingly in regards to part one. And this is using the Spiderman action figure. And before you know it, I was making part three, part four, part five, and I think it got up to about part five, and I had pretty much replaced my wage. In fact, I'd replaced my wage by, I think, about 2 or 3 times by this stage.
Wow.
And, friends and family and all just sort of questioning me, what are you going to do? You're going to continue working? And I'm like, of course I am. But in the back of my mind, I sort of knew where I was headed. I was actually heading into doing what I knew I wanted to do when I was 12 years old.
Yes.
And, the good old thing, it's too good to be true. Dreams don't happen, no way, they don't happen to me. Well, it was happening to me, so I had to come to terms with that I'm about to enter into the profession that I always wanted to. And with today's technology, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can do it.
Absolutely. And look, so just for our listeners itself, we've had the conversations, we've had a conversation about it, but you have how many subscribers to your channel at this time?
I think it's about just under 600,000, so it's probably sitting on about 597,000.
Wow.
I have I think it's nearly 510 million views. So, it's like 500 million views that I'm sort of bought into this little house in Casey. So that's amazing in itself.
When we were having a conversation last week, I just fell back on the lounge when you were speaking to me, and I went, what? They're amazing. And this is great. And look, it's a lot of hard work, isn't it? It's not easy. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort to be able to do this. And yes, it's taken you about 3 to 4 years to achieve the success. But in saying that, it's taken you a lot of hard work and challenges, right?
It is a lot of hard work. It's physically challenging. I think it's because with toys, I don't have them set up on a set where I sit in the chair comfortably. I actually go on location, and when I speak about location, it might be in the corner of the lounge room, it might be in the bathroom, it might be under the couch.
Yes.
I got to set these figures up, and because they're down there and the camera's down there, well, I got to be down there too. So I'm on my hands and knees.
Yes.
I'm usually resting on a cushion. So,
Yeah. And this is
but
just
it's not just that, Ryan. It's also mentally challenging too.
Absolutely.
It's emotionally challenging. I'm putting together something that I wonder, are people going to like this? You know, I know they like the other stuff to a certain point, but are they going to like the next one? And you really got to erase that out of your mind. You got to get rid of it. You got to work is good for the soul. I always say, don't let the demons into your mind that can wreck what you want to do. Just erase it all and get to work.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's another philosophy, by the way.
You go with your gut feeling, isn't it? That's the most important thing, and it's believing in yourself. And I was talking about, at the start of the program, I was talking about self-belief. I was talking about, the things that people talk about in the subconscious minds, and the mind. It does affect you when you start to really beat yourself up and be negative about things, and people say, like, for example, I do what I do, and that's just me, Ryan. I'm a different person to Lawrence. Lawrence is passionate about what you do, and in saying that also, your YouTube channel, can you give us your how people can contact you, or what is your YouTube channel? What is it called?
It's called Lozaus. So that's spelled Lozaus1. It's a weird name, but the way it came across is Loz, as in my name,
Yes.
Lawrence.
Lawrence, yeah.
Oz, as in Australia.
Yes.
And at the time, I think you had to put a number at the end of the YouTube name. It's going way back, years ago. People tell me it wasn't the case, but I could have sworn I read it somewhere, but I did it anyway. But I can be, probably the best place I can be contacted on is my Facebook page under the same name.
Yes.
And I get lots of messages from kids around the world all the time, and quite a few that actually always sending me all sorts of stuff. But that's probably my best form of communication.
And how important is the support around you to be able to do something like this?
My biggest support has been my wife. She has been there since day one. After all, if she had never bought me that Spiderman action figure, I probably never would have gotten into this. She was my biggest support, and she still is to this day. There's never a day that she comes home and she sits down with me and we go through what I may have done, and I may have been filming something which had taken 6.5 hours, and all I've accomplished is 6 seconds of stop motion. Our kids, there's not a day they wake up in the morning and they see me on my hands and knees playing with toys. They used to laugh all the time, but they give me a lot of respect. They would see what I'm doing, and they'll sort of like say, "Oh, can I walk past at the moment?" and that type of stuff on their way to brush their teeth or pick up their school bag or something. But so I get a lot of support from home, friends and family. They've always been quite supportive, and of course the fans, the people out there that send me messages. It is a good feeling getting messages.
For young people, or let's say not even young people, I'd say for people who want to explore their passion, for people who want to, sit back and say, no, it's not going to happen. It's like you just said, what is the message you want to give out to people? Give us a strong message.
Okay. If you're going to follow your passion, the day that you decide to do it, and if you don't do it, and in 10 years' time you look back at that day, you're going to wish you did. Make those first initial steps. If you don't know where to start, it is like walking. Just make a step. The next step will definitely follow. There is never a day that I wake up that I think, how am I going to pull off this shot? How am I going to set up the camera? And I just think to myself, just do it.
Yes.
Just simply do it. Just simply get that camera out, stick it on that tripod. I know I don't know what I'm doing yet, but just simply do that first. The rest will follow, and that's like your passion. Just make that first initial step, even if it's just a baby step. You just started your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lawrence.
And once you've written that first page, the second page will follow.
Thank you, Lawrence, for this. It's an absolute privilege and a pleasure to speak to you. And I'm amazed. Not amazed, but I know you've worked really hard for this in a way also as well.
It was a pleasure, Ryan. Thank you very much for having me.
There you have it. Wow. 500 million views, about 600 plus subscribers to his YouTube channel in about 3.5-4 years. Going full-time in his passion. Well, it's been an absolute pleasing pleasure speaking to you on 97.7 FM KC Radio on an hour of power and leadership with me, Ryan Gomez.